So, hello Eva. I'm now going to present the materials I did for my final project of AICOLE. First of all, I want to say sorry because um, this is not the best activity I could come with. I had a lot of difficulties in the way, and I wish I had done better. And I would really appreciate your advice in the way, if you could say, am I going in the right direction with this activity? Because I would like this activity to be a part of my portfolio, and I would really appreciate your critics and your advice. On with the activity. I have chosen an activity that is about statistics, since my major is maths, and I had a very strong difficulty with this activity because I think CLIL is not a methodology really suited for maths, because you can say that maths is on itself a language, so it's not very easy to adapt to a CLIL methodology class. So my approach was to let's make a statistics class, but try to give it like a cross-curricular approach. So basically, I would need the help of another specialist to help me create the activities for this CLIL project. But since I personally do not feel comfortable outside my major, and I'm currently not working with any other specialists from other majors that could be of interest for the students to which the project is for. I sort of did an activity which is I ended up making a maths class of statistics, and I tried to put as much of the CLIL methodology as I could think of. Now, the subject of this activity would be sort of getting to know the Spanish population. So, what we are doing, we have 3 or 4 sessions. I still don't know, and the reason is I don't know how much time these sessions can take. I have a feeling they can take more than an hour, each of them, because the maths part, even though it's basics, it can take some time to scaffold and to make sure the students really understand it. So basically, what we have is we start off by vocabulary, then we see a video from the INE, and we start dwelling on statistical concepts like variables or population or sample and so on through the activities. Then we will move on to more mathematic content like frequencies or graphs, data representation, and by the third session, which I didn't have time to plan, I was planning on taking aggregated measures and mode and median, and I plan on taking it this way because my idea is that for a final project, the students have to make an investigation of their own. That means on the first activity, on the first session, we start by defining what are variables, what are population, and what are samples. So the objective of this is that they start thinking in terms of variables, populations, and samples. So they start thinking of a question they want to answer. For example, I have thought of some examples. I can give them in case they are out of ideas. I don't know. How many hours do the students of this school spend in sport? Spend doing sport? Or how many hours do the students spend studying? Or how many siblings do the children of the school have? Or well, we can get very creative here. Of course, the potential of this activity is that you have a great potential in adapting it to another area. Basically, what we are asking the students is that they make an investigation on their own. And the way I was planning on making this investigation for this current activity, but it can also be it can be done in other ways. It's not mandatory to do it this way, of course. I was thinking of making them, well, select a population, select a variable you want to measure, a numeric variable because it fits, right now it fits the objective of the course, which is managing with aggregated measures like mean, standard deviation, variance, and so on. And by session 2, I would ask them to make a Google form and actually spread this Google form around their peers, their family, their friends, and try to gain actual data for them to study. And this is the idea. By the end of session 3, they will all, I hope, have their Google forms completed, and they can, after learning what are modes, medians, and other measures, and after learning about graphs, which I have done in the previous session, and so on, they can start analyzing the data they have, gaining insights, representing it, and afterwards, what I would like them to do is make a report of what they have seen, of what they have measured, and to make an exposition in front of the class to tell them about what they have found. And so, with all this in mind, I think that the key competences I will be developing would be, of course, it is a CLIL class, so we are doing these 3 here, which is communication in foreign languages, social and civic competences, and learning how to learn, which are CLIL competences, and also mathematical competences in science and technology, obviously because of the mathematical content. Then I think we can also argue that this is a competence that is also present since they are doing a project on their own. And depending on the cross-curricular approach you are choosing, you can actually also manage to fit in these 2 competencies that I left aside. So briefly, the content objectives will be related to maths content, since I don't have any other content I would like to put in the objectives right now. And for language objectives right now, it's also very short. It's just related to specific vocabulary, to describe what they find, and these 2 points should be completed when the other subject for the cross-curricular approach is selected. It should be done differently, maybe. It should be adapted, yes. And about evaluation, well, I didn't have time to do the evaluation I wanted to do, but basically what I thought of doing is making a 3-part evaluation. That means there's a student evaluation, which is each student is going to be evaluated by the rest of the members of his or her team. That means what he does daily, if he helps his teammates, if he these kind of things, more like teamwork. Also, there's a teacher evaluation, which is about what I can see in their daily performance. If they are invested in the activity, if they actually understand the content, if they try to help their team members and so on. And those two would be with help of a rubric, which I haven't had time to make. And also, I would also add the evaluation. In the evaluation of the final project, because it's like the sum of everything we have done here, which is the language objectives, learning how to express yourself in English, learning how to say what you see in this what this data tell you in English, and also the mathematical part. If you are able to actually understand what the numbers tell you and how to obtain these numbers that can give insights to you, and you can actually use them to gain conclusions on something, or to conclude something. So this is basically it. I have uploaded all the materials to Padlet, and I have two separate sheets for the activity. One is with the teacher notes, which is the one I was showing you earlier. It has notes on how to scaffold, on notes about adaptations, and the other one is just a regular worksheet for the students without all the notes, and leaving just the activities for them to do. And that is all about my project. Like I said before, I'm very sorry I couldn't deliver something better now. I would really appreciate your feedback, and also I would appreciate knowing if I am going in the right direction with this activity, because at some point I was actually lost, and I actually realized I wasn't doing a clear class. I was doing a math class, but in English, and with some scaffolding, but that is not clear. So it has been very, very, very pleasant, I have to say, but also a very difficult activity for me, actually, because I kept getting lost in my objectives, and it would have probably been easier if I had chosen from the start this cross-curricular approach I was telling you. But as I said before, I don't feel comfortable outside my major right now, so this is what I came up with, and I think it's even so, it's still a useful activity to develop in an English class, English or clear class, I should say. So I'll be waiting for your feedback. Thank you very much.